What's up everyone and welcome to Why I Like Episode 2. Tonight I want to talk to you about a game I absolutely love. It's you may have noticed already because of the slight hints around me, like 2 limited editions of the game, a rolling demo, or a title screen no less. Well, it's Dragon Age Origins, a game I'm absolutely in love. I think this one, it's my 8th playthrough. Well, each of them took me roughly 80 hours to finish, and I just can't get enough, you know. Alright, so why I like Dragon Age? Well, first of all, it's a spiritual sequel to Baldur's Gate, you know, which is considered to be one of the greatest RPG experience ever, and I actually agree with that. It's really that good. It's amazing, still by nowadays standards, you know, and Dragon Age is amazing. Is amazing. It has a combat system which is, and keep in mind that I'm basing myself off the console versions only. I know the PC version is quite different, but the combat system is a mix between strategy and actual, you know, real time. You know, you can direct orders to your party members, and like, for example, you should attack that enemy over there while you stand back, you know, casting spells. It's great. It's great, and I can tell you, even on the highest, even on consoles on the highest difficulties, it's tough. It's really a challenge. I remember trying to defeat. I can't remember the name of the boss. It's one of the DLCs, and I remember trying to beat it on nightmare difficulty, and my god, it was something. It was really not nerve-cracking, but really a test of patience, you know. Plus, why I like Dragon Age. Alright, so the actual cast of the game, it's amazing. You can see some of them on the rolling demo behind me. There's Alistair, you know, which is the good at heart, almost goofy, reluctant shoulder of your character. Then there's Morrigan, which is my favorite character in the whole game. She's the witty, sarcastic, cynical witch. And then there's Leliana, who comes from Orlais, which is a continent in Ferelden, the world of the game, similar to France, and even their accent is like French-ish. Then there's Ogren, the drunk dwarf. Then there's Stan, the Kunari, which is a proud and really, you know, honorable race of warriors, which on a side note, which they completely fucked up in the sequel, Dragon Age 2. But I'll get to that, even if I don't actually really want it. And then who there is again? There's Wynne, the super wise and you know, very calm, very wise. I told him again. I told it again. It's really the old figure that really gives you advice on the game. Then who there is, man? I can't remember. There's the golem in the DLC. Then no, seriously, every character in the game is so well described that you actually grow a link with them, it's hard to express it with words, because one thing is when you play a game, and it's another subject when you try to, actually talk about it. Meanwhile, there's one of probably the most epic rolling demos ever going on behind me. And then, what do I like about Dragon Age? Oh, the lore. There's lore in every inch of the game. There's the Chantry, there's the rogue mages, the blood mages. There's lore even in weapon and armors. There's a little description with, and some of them are funny to read too. Then what there is again, the level themselves, and this is an important topic. This isn't an open world game. Levels are extensive, but they are levels, kind of like in Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. And they're actually well made, Plus, what I like about Dragon Age is that there's, I'm gonna talk about the story, the actual story of the game. My favorite, as I said in the previous video, is the one like Dark Souls, not giving away much plot to you, not handing it to you, but hinting at it, and you have to connect the dots. Dragon Age, on the other hand, it's kind of like an old school RPG. There's an actual plot going on, and one thing that I like, and one thing that I like is that right from the get-go, shortly after the tutorial, give or take, you're presented with the Archdemon, which is gonna be your nemesis throughout the game. All right. So the game, it's vast, but you know that at some point, at the end of the game, you're gonna face this one formidable foe, and that builds up your expectations for the final fight. You're scared of it, but yet you can't wait to actually face that enemy and vanquish it eventually. Or maybe like hopefully, because I know I cursed a lot while fighting the last fight, and this it's really something I really like, and I can't say the same for Dragon Age 2, which I didn't even bother to take down the other shelf, because alright, picture it like this, follow me. In Dragon Age you're progressing, alright? You start from a point and then everything builds up to the final fight, alright? To the end of the game. In Dragon Age 2, and this is kind of hard to explain, you start and instead of progressing, you basically do stuff, to sum it up, that pushes you forward in time, not in the actual storyline. I mean, it does too on Dragon Age 2, but it's a very different way of moving through the game, alright? And that I didn't like so much, because whereas in Dragon Age 1, there's this huge formidable foe at the end of the game, in Dragon Age 2 stuff happens during periods of time that slowly and somewhat vaguely builds up to a final confrontation that down here we say it's not meat, it's not fish, all right? So it's kind of bland, Um, Plus, in that Dragon Age 2, I didn't really like how they change the graphic style. It's much more stylized. Uh, I don't know. It's just look at the Kunari. All right. To give you an example, Stan in Dragon Age 1 is basically a black guy that has dreadlocks, something like that. But you can tell it's basically human. Although in the game it refers to you as human, which kinda doesn't make sense, considering he looks like one, he looks like you, it's a human, but he refers to you as human. Anyway, in Dragon Age 2, what they did was transform the Kunari they had in Dragon Age 1 to this sort of, you know, monsters, and take this with a grain of salt. And with a purple skin, horns, and that really, you know, kind of broke my immersion as soon as I met them, because I was like, whoa, what's that? Then I realized those were the Kunari, like my body Stan in the first game. What was that? But anyway, another thing I really like in the game is the soundtrack. The main theme, it still gives me goosebumps, since it's really that good. It's great. Guys, I don't know what to say anymore. One thing I didn't like much was the DLCs for Dragon Age 1. But that would go a bit too much into spoiler territory, since they were also meant to link Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age Inquisition, which is coming in November 2014, and which I can't wait to play. They changed a lot of things. The game is now open world. There's a new cast of characters which I never heard before, and I'm following them on Twitter, the Dragon Age account. But I'm pretty sure they learned from their mistakes as in Dragon Age 2. So guys, that was why I like Dragon Age Origins, why I like episode 2 actually. So if you like the vid, put a little like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at PierreSPK71, and until then, may the Maker watch over y'all. Ciao guys!